individuals. I'm running against a low IQ individual, her. I'm not even talking about him, her. I got a low IQ individual.
So think of it. They get me to that position, and then their campaign says, I'm the prosecutor, and he is the convicted felon. That's their campaign. I don't think people are going to buy it.
Michigan registered voters put her and the former president at 49% each. That's 3 percentage points better than President Biden was performing. Minnesota, the presumptive Democratic nominee, is up and has a 6-point advantage there.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
I mean, it's one thing to have around 500 golf carts parading through the Villages, a retirement community in a notoriously deep red central Florida, in support of Kamala Harris for president, but to then follow that up with an endorsement from the Republican mayor of Mesa, Arizona, the Mar-a-Lago walls are bound to be lathered in ketchup.
It was so bad, and they pretended it was good, and they're doing the same thing with her. She was a bum 3 weeks ago.
What Donald Trump called Kamala Harris dumb. That was a profound mistake, in my opinion.
So as many noticed over the weekend, there were several videos circulating online showcasing the clear momentum shift. Saturday's rally in the Villages was part of the newly minted Harris campaign efforts to engage Florida voters and recruit volunteers to boost Democratic support. With roughly 30% of Florida voters affiliated with neither the Republican or Democratic Party, per the Tallahassee Democrat, some attendees saw this turnout as a sign of a notable shift for the largely conservative community. Shift that appears to be happening across the board. See the latest Fox News poll, for example.
Up and has a 6-point advantage there. They are both tied at 49 in Pennsylvania. And former President Trump has a 1-point lead in Wisconsin. Those results are comparable with the Trump versus Biden numbers. Many of the new polls coming out nationally and in the swing states have been within the margin of error in this new race.
You know, John, Republicans argue the enthusiasm around Harris is manufactured, but the campaign providing us this morning some specific proof points, some evidence of real energy. Not only did she raise $200 million since President Biden announced he would not seek re-election a week ago, 66% of those people are donating for the first time. The campaign also telling us this morning that 170,000 people have signed up to volunteer in the last week.
Just north of Detroit in Macomb County, Michigan, it's where we find Laura Chidsey, who says she once considered herself a hippie and is now a retired Defense Department employee.
You are a Republican.
Yes.
And in 2020, did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes.
2016 also?
Yes.
And now this year, had you planned to vote for Donald Trump?
Well, I did. Now, tables might turn.
With Kamala Harris?
Yes.
So you're not sure?
Not sure.
Before Kamala Harris got in the race, were you undecided or did you know who you were going to vote for president?
I was definitely leaning towards Trump before she got in.
And now how do you feel now that she's in?
I'm waffling a little bit.
But in an unprecedented shift across party lines, Kamala Harris then scored an endorsement from Mayor John Gillis, the Republican mayor of Mesa, Arizona. He took out an entire op-ed published by the Arizona Republic on Monday, making the case for Harris as president over his own party's nominee, Donald Trump. Now, Gillis invoked the memory of the late Senator John McCain and his motto of country first as he called on other Arizona Republicans to, quote, join him by choosing country over party this election and vote against Donald Trump.
A while ago, I had the honor of calling Senator Barack Obama to congratulate him, to congratulate him on being elected the next president of the country that we both love. In a contest as long and difficult as this campaign has been, his success alone commands my respect for his ability and perseverance, but that he managed to do so by inspiring the hopes of so many millions of Americans who had once wrongly believed that they had little at stake or little influence in the election of an American president is something I deeply admire and commend him for achieving.
Gillis tore into Trump over election denialism and how much it has affected the state of Arizona, which it's now par for the course, I guess, for Republicans in that state to just deny defeat. As we are all unfortunate enough to know of Carrie Lake, who has advanced election conspiracy theories and was sued by a county election official for defamation.
Specifically, would you look to limit early voting and mail-in voting in Arizona?
I don't know exactly how we'll do it.
but we will secure our elections, restore faith in our elections, make sure our elections are honest and transparent.
Failed Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake became ensnared in another lawsuit yesterday. Maricopa County recorder Stephen Riker is suing Lake for defamation.
But as Joe just said, it's all coming back down. Gravity is pulling this all back down to planet Earth here, because what it is showing is that even the best snake oil salesmen or women out there can be held accountable by voters, by the law.
And here's the thing, right? In a sane world, you would expect more of this across party lines, especially in the wake of January 6th. You know, the damage inflicted by Trump and his MAGA contingent put the tenet of our democracy at stake. But unfortunately, Republicans like this are all too rare. Instead, you'll find more Republicans like that of Chris Sununu, who once spoke out vehemently against Donald Trump, only to then swallow those words with a chaser of snake oil and sit across from a journalist and pretend that he doesn't think that Donald Trump is a major threat to democracy.
President Trump facing some backlash for those comments Friday night, saying his supporters won't have to vote again in 4 years.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
I'm joined now by the Republican governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu. Governor, what the heck did he mean there?
Well, I think that was a classic Trumpism, if you will. I think he's just trying to make the point that this stuff can be fixed. Obviously we want everybody to vote in all elections, but I think he was just trying to make a hyperbolic point that it can be fixed as long as he gets back into office and all that. But, classic Trump right there.
Okay. And just days, let's turn to President Biden and Kamala Harris, just days before President Biden.
And FYI, this is what I mean when journalists need to do a better job in today's day and age of pushing back and not just allowing these type of things to go unchecked. But what this endorsement, the polls, and the countless videos across the board from Pennsylvania to Michigan are showing is there's a clear momentum shift in favor of Kamala Harris.
Enthusiasm. We know that Democrats were suffering from low enthusiasm, so enthusiastic about voting. So this is Democrats for Biden or Harris. Look at this. Back in February, just 62% of Democrats said they were enthusiastic about voting for Joe Biden. Look at this now. Woof. Up to 88% now say that they are enthusiastic about voting for Kamala Harris. That is a huge jump. That is a 26-point jump. Look at Trump during the same stretch. Republicans for Trump. It was 80% in February. Look, it's still fairly high at 82%. But compared to February, where Trump had this 18-point advantage, now we see Harris with a 6-point advantage. It's definitely for Democrats. Game on. They are very enthusiastic. We see it in the money being raised. We see it in the volunteer sign-ups. And now we're seeing in the polling as well.
And Donald Trump, he can't handle it.
Quote, it's going to be harder. What we could have gotten in earned media, we will have to now pay for. We underestimate her cultural appeal and her power at our peril.
So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And in this campaign, I promise you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
As the attack, what's the retort?
Well, I think it's disgusting, and I get a kick out of one thing. They say, sir, be nice. You just got hit with a bullet. Maybe he's changed. Be nice. And I'd love to be nice, but I'm dealing against real garbage.
View those attacks against you as racist.
Well, this is not the first time in my life I've been called names. And it was predictable, sadly.
Do you think the president is racist?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.